You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.
Welcome inside a windy John Henses Veterans Memorial Stadium. We're in Peckville, Lackawanna County. Tonight, the Lackawanna Football Conference Division II Championship is on the line as number 5 Scranton Prep battles number 1 Valley View. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide, and welcome to the last game of the regular season. And there's a lot on the line tonight. Joining me for the ride, Brendan Murphy will be on the sidelines, and former Tunkhannock area coach Jan Seachak will be in the booth with me. And Coach, we look forward to this all season long. We had it circled on the calendar. You just don't know if these two teams will come in undefeated, but that's exactly what happened.
Talk about season 10. What a way to finish the Friday Night Rivals game. Number 1, number 5, and Valley View. I mean, they are pumped up for this game, as is Scranton Prep.
Speaking of Scranton Prep, they scored 50 points in 3 games this year. They average over 47 points per game. They have one of the best backs maybe in the state. In London Montgomery, he's our Toyota Spotlight player.
And London Montgomery, that young man, 5'11", 190 pounds, 28 touchdowns, over 1,600 yards, and he's only played in 6 games this year. He is a dynamite player, and we will be seeing him play at the next level.
That we will. Valley View, meantime, is also averaging over 40-some points per game. They lost their quarterback, Adam Hawan. It's about 3 weeks ago, but they haven't missed a step. Their big player is Connor Herling. He's our other Toyota Spotlight player.
Connor Herling is 5'8", 180 pounds. He's rushed for over 800 yards and has 17 touchdowns on the year. He is what Coach Hawanitz needs here as a real fast scat back to pick up where Adam Hawanitz left off.
The forecast does not look good, so let's check in now with Allie DeBicki from the Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Hey there, everybody. Here's your Friday Night Rivals forecast for Scranton Prep versus Valley View. We're going to see rain lifting in out of the south and out of the west for kickoff, so please be mindful of those showers, some of which may become heavy at times as we head into halftime and into end of game. Temperatures should be holding steady to the lower 50s with clouds and a breezy easterly wind gusting upwards of 25 miles per hour. That's a check in your forecast. We'll send it over to the field for more.
Thank you, Allie. The Lackawanna Football Conference Division II Championship is up for grabs. Valley View has won the last 3 contests between these two schools. Can the Cavaliers break that streak? We'll find out next. It's number 5 Scranton Prep and number 1 Valley View.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.
The Cavaliers coming in, trying to break that 3-game losing streak to the Cougars, and Valley View wants to pick up their 27th win over Scranton Prep. Before we head down to Brendan, tonight's national anthem will be on the field. The crowd in attendance stands, face the flag, and now our national anthem here from John Henses Veterans Memorial Stadium. National anthem here tonight. Nice crowd on hand despite the weather, and the weather will be part of what happens on the field tonight, and Brendan Murphy is going to brave those elements with John Gubble tonight. And Brendan, I think the rain has just started.
It has, Bob. It's just starting to drizzle a little bit. It's going to get significantly harder during the game, but we were talking all week that the rain may be a factor. I think the wind is going to be a really big factor tonight. It's been circling all over the stadium in pregame. I was watching some of the punters and kickers kick. The balls were swirling all over the place. The return men are going to have their work cut out for them tonight, but we still got a real dandy on tap. This is for supremacy in Lackawanna Division II. This is to see who comes out on top. Scranton Prep trying to get over the hump and beat Valley View for the first time in 4 years. The Cougars, on the other hand, they want to hold on to this title. We got two outstanding running backs on either side. It's going to come down to that. It's going to be tough to throw the ball, but both of these teams very balanced both ways offensively and high-scoring offenses, so I would imagine we're going to see a shootout here tonight. Bob and Jan, we'll have to wait and see.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Bob.
Scranton Prep won the toss. They want to take the ball. Let's talk about the special teams tonight. Kicking the ball in this weather, whether you're punting or it's a kickoff or even a point after attempt.
I'll tell you what, Bob. When we were doing our pregame show, the wind was going in 3 different directions. If you look at the American flag, it's going from left to right. Then we were looking at the student section. Their flag was going right to left. And where we were standing at the 50-yard line, it was swirling. So
we are underway for the Division II championship of the Lackawanna Football Conference. Liam Barrett, the sophomore from the 2, and he stood up right around the 20-yard line, and that's where Scranton Prep will take over in this game. So Sean Monahan gets the start. He's been there all year. He's thrown for just 619 yards, but just 1 interception, which is a big factor.
And especially here at Scranton Prep, where we know everyone's eyes are on London Montgomery, and he has really risen to the top here. Sean has, and again, 11 touchdowns at 1. That's an awesome stat to have at any level.
You want to watch the guys up front, the Hogs, as they used to call them, for the Washington football team. This is going to come down to 2 big lines here for this win. Montgomery finds a hole, and he shoots through up close to the line to gain, almost 8 for London.
And Bob, you mentioned the Washington football team, and number 44, the big fullback, reminds me of John Riggins, and I had said that to Michael during the pregame. I said, you remind me a lot of John Riggins. You're a big, strong guy. And he looked at me and said, sir, I don't know who that is.
So the wind is going left to right on your screen. It will be in Scranton Prep's face for the first quarter. Montgomery again, he just needs a little gap. He's up through for a figured law. First down to the 34-yard line, move the chains.
Again, London Montgomery is a really, really special young man in terms of being an athlete. And again, Michael Golay doesn't get a lot of credit. Right there you see number 53, Drew O'Malley. They're just doing that inside lead with the guard pulling up inside with the fullback kicking out the linebacker to give London Montgomery that little bit of room he needs to get that yardage.
Mackerel and Rossi come to the near side as London Montgomery comes out of the backfield. They'll give it to the fullback, Golay, and not much going on there. Coming in is Dylan Walsh to make the stop, and here's now your Dixon City Hyundai starting for Scranton Prep. We talked about Golay, Montgomery, and Monahan. The receivers, Robert Rossi, 21 catches on the year and 8 touchdowns. And up front, this is where it's going to be won or lost. This is a big line, very experienced line with 4 seniors.
And they average 250 pounds across the board. And they're strong and mean and nasty up there as a Prep offensive line.
Montgomery's first toss to the outside, and he has speed. Montgomery into Cougar territory down to the 34-yard line.
This is where you're going to see how explosive of an athlete this young man is. And he just gets a great block by the offensive line. They all reach block, turn inside, seal the edge, and there he goes. Again, he has said he's a very modest young man. He says, I couldn't do this without my offensive line and my receivers doing a great job with the stalk block.
And Prep's loss last year to this team, 34-21. Montgomery was injured late in the first quarter with a concussion, was diagnosed later. Mm-hmm. He has to stay on the field tonight for Prep to even have a chance, and you saw why. 31 yards on that carry. Little draw to Montgomery. He's a little bit bigger and stronger than he was last year. It's a figure law first down up to the 23.
He really is. He came in first in districts last year. He went to states, improved his 100 speed, and he hit the weight room. And you'll see like this, they go with the motion in there, and a little bit, the defensive line for the Cougars is standing up just a little bit, and they're getting pushed out of the way. And I know Coach Wasilchek will take care of that. Make sure that their defensive line stays low, pad under their pad, and really make them root them out of there.
Joel with the stop for the Cougars. Prep on the move, their first possession of the game. We're just underway. Montgomery up for about 5, and let's check in now with the Dixon City Hyundai Valley View defense, giving up only 9.5 points per game. Halloran, Altieri, Marion, and Randall up front. Randall with 47 tackles on the season. Linebackers are very active. Dylan Walsh has 46 total tackles on the year. Hyde has 6 tackles for a loss. And the secondary, they're coming up to make some plays. Sean McInerney's back there. He has 4 interceptions on the year. Montgomery, shifty, shoots through. The line is moving. It's like a rugby match, and let's see where they mark it. And it will be a figure law first down just outside the 10-yard line, I believe. Let's see where they do. Mike Sarah, the referee tonight.
They go with an orbit motion where they bring number 1 coming in. That's Liam Barrett, to have him go in a deep motion, trying to get the secondary to adjust to it. They're really playing a really nice job with their cover 3, their 4-4 base defense, and they're not really going for it, but they're getting pushed out of the way. And London Montgomery is just showing how much of a key to this Scranton Prep offense it is.
Inside the Allied Services red zone, Montgomery stood up that time by number 56 on the outside, who makes a great stop, and that is Ja'Kai Simmons playing a little end tonight.
Defensive linebackers now, wow, nice job. And then you'll see they come in there, they're popping them. Andrew Hyde coming in there. They're all getting a piece of Montgomery. They're going to make sure that he's going to earn every single yard tonight.
And was just 1-yard gain. So Scranton Prep opening drive inside the Allied Services red zone. They can get a first down at the 1. 8th play of the drive. Little pitched short side. Montgomery shoots through, and it's a U.S. Army touchdown. Scranton Prep, they march the field, and they take the early lead.
Here you go. You'll see this again on the instant replay coming up by our great crew. A little toss play. And Montgomery, if you saw how he's planted on that right foot and cut back onto the inside, did another stutter step for a walk-in touchdown.
9 plays, 80 yards. Just under 5 minutes off the clock. Scranton Prep is on the board. Rinaldi in for the PAT, which could be an adventure tonight. Kick is up, and it is through. 7:25 left in the first quarter. The Cavaliers take the early lead, 7-0. You want to be bundled up. There you see some tents here, umbrellas. Rain is kind of off and on so far, but, you know, give these fans credit for coming out to the biggest game of the year. Really on both sides, great student sections in attendance, and this is what high school football is all about.
Absolutely, and it's great to be back at a championship caliber game. Playoffs, both these teams that you're watching this evening are going to the playoffs. They're the top in each one of their respective categories, and we're just seeing great football tonight, and the fans, the band, the cheerleaders. Bob, like you said, this is a great turnout for a miserable night.
So London Montgomery carried the ball 8 times in that drive for 78 yards. And Prep takes the early 7-0 lead as Rinaldi has it teed up. Skeen and McInerney looks like back to receive. It's a low line drive kick, hits one of the Valley View Cougars. He's downing it right around the 33-yard line, and that's where they'll take over on this opening drive. So we talked about it in the pregame just a little bit. Adam Hawanis, the starting quarterback, he went down. So Don Mimo's come in. He's just a sophomore. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns, and he's running the offense the way Coach Hawanis wants it run.
He really does. And don't let those numbers deceive you. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for a sophomore coming in for a great kid that was at quarterback. But we know Hilling's the guy that's been carrying this team too.
And Hilling is stood up right about a 3-yard gain by this Prep defense that is giving up just around 12 points per game. Short gain for Hilling.
Boy, the way that the Cavaliers are storming to defense here, coming up, taking on the blocks, standing up blockers, and look at that gang tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Prep guys. The defensive side of the ball, trying to get in there and get a piece of the Hilling.
Christian Kohut, the senior, with a tackle on that. Mimo into the shotgun. We'll see Skeen in the backfield as well. Hand off to Hilling again. 3rd and short on the way, just past the 40-yard line. Let's check in now, Coach, with the Dixon City Hyundai starters for the Valley View Cougars, averaging 41 points per game. Mimo, Hilling, and Randall, the starting backfield. Skeen, a very good wide receiver. McInder's on the year, 19 catches, 279 yards, and another big experienced offensive line, just about everyone back from last year.
246 pounds, so they're pretty even with the Prep's offensive line. They just got to start moving people out of the way. And number 7, defensively, comes up and makes a great stop and drops him for a loss.
So it's Colin Skeen, who was in kind of a wildcat position. Montgomery comes up. A loss of about 6 on the play, and Valley View will have to punt.
Well, that was right guard James Cassarin that we saw pulled from his guard position on that wildcat formation, and he was having a tough time with the defensive end, Drew O'Malley, trying to dig him out of there.
Okay, let's see if Corey Bush will have the wind at his back for this first punt. We have a timeout on the field called by Scranton Prep. 5:35 remaining. And now let's check out these two coaches. George Hawanitz on the right, his 15th season with his Cougar team. Terry Gallagher took over for Nick Donato. We've talked about this before, and really has picked up where he's left off. 59-9. They only lost 9 games in 6 seasons. He's got 4 district titles. George Hawanitz has a couple district titles in his belt. 2 of the best around.
And I'll tell you what, this is why the Lackawanna Football League is one of the premier elite leagues in the state. You have 2 head coaches with those type of records, and the programs and the communities that they are coaching for, there's just total respect for these 2 coaches and these teams.
Of course, George Hawanitz was the quarterback on the 1992 championship team here at Valley View. For those that remember that, in 92, I was actually at that game out in Altoona. That's where it was. That was a big win for them. Coach Pizzalia was running the show here, and you know, this is what Coach Hawanitz talked about this week. They're playing Valley View football.
They are, and this is a trademark of, like I was saying earlier, about Valley View with their football program and what their expectations are, and the same with Scranton Prep.
Montgomery and Barrett back to receive deep near their own 20. Valley View tightens it up now. Prep coming after it. Bush gets a nice leg. They kick away from Montgomery. Barrett legs it a roll. He picks it up at the 20. The sophomore has some speed, but shooting down was A.J. Kaharski.
Nice job. Way to play special teams. 1/3 of the game, Bob. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, he did that a lot last week, and he's really being a great special teams player. So let's check out some performance keys to the game, Coach. First for the Cavaliers.
Well, this is trademark. We were just talking about Scranton Prep is known how physically they play, and that's what Coach Gallagher wants his defense to do and his offense, and he's very concerned about the turnover battle. He wants to win that so desperately tonight to keep the ball and put it in London Montgomery's hands.
Second series for Prep. They scored on their opening possession. Back to Montgomery, who has a big hole. He shoots through, and he's going to be just short of the first down. Give him 9 more.
They ran what I would call a scissor play. Fullback goes to the right, and the tailback goes to the left. And again, number 53, Drew O'Malley, pulling up inside, right past the right guard to pull up in there on the linebacker.
They actually give him 10 yards, so it's a figure law first down, as Jordan Rebar made the stop on that. All Montgomery needs is a little gash, and he can shoot through. He has the speed, as Coach talked about. 4-3 defense. This time the left side of the Cougar defense comes up big, just a 2-yard gain.
Number 5 I saw in there, Dylan Walsh was in there. You'll see it right there, just a host of Cougars in there, a blue wall, and stopped them right there.
One thing about Montgomery, who had 373 yards against Scranton this year, he's going to get hit tonight like he's never been hit this year.
The Cougars, talk about Coach Gallagher playing physical, that's what the Cougars like to do, and they are the biggest team Scranton Prep has played all year.
Monahan into the shotgun. Skeen almost got Montgomery in the backfield, but the junior powers up past the 40. It'll be 3rd down and about 6.
I like the disguise on that coverage on the defense. Skeen went out on the wide receiver and then scraped right inside as a blitz and forced Montgomery back inside to where the pack of Cougars are. And that way he got just a little bit of yardage. But it's still positive for the Prep Cavaliers.
And everyone knows number 7's getting the ball. Can you stop him? Can the line give him the holes that he needs? That's going to be the difference tonight. 5-man front. Montgomery shoots through. They give him that hole. He gets a figure law first down. He's right up to midfield.
It's just amazing how the offensive and defensive lines are stalemating each other right at the line of scrimmage. And then you add Golay in there, a fullback at 240 pounds. Finds a little bit of hole and opens that up for London Montgomery.
Jeff Condish with the stop for the Cougars. For Scranton Prep. No one's thrown a pass yet. Here still in the first quarter. The wind going left to right. Montgomery has room. Nope. Monahan will keep it. The quarterback on the RPO kept that 1 yard gain. Good stop by the outside of that defense for Valley View.
That was number 59 that led that charge, Jacob Kassarin in there. And again, these guys are just mixing it up everywhere they can. They're playing very physical. They're hitting each other at the wide receiver, D-backs, stalk blocks, or they're trying to destroy them. These two teams are really battling super hard.
One thing Coach Wanitz has done, he's shifting his defensive tackles and defensive ends around. As Montgomery gets strung out, actually might lose a yard on that. So it's 3rd and long now facing Scranton Prep. And as I was saying, some guys who didn't really play defense all year are playing defense, like Kasserine, like Swartz, and that's what Valley View is doing.
And we just saw Colin Skeen come up and make a huge hit to drop him for a short loss on that to keep it at 3rd and 9. Now, Scranton Prep really hasn't been into too many of these 3rd and long situations. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Gallagher dials up, as well as Coach Wanitz with his defense right now.
Watch for Rossi here. Looks like he's going to have help over the top. He's nearest. They give it to Montgomery. He comes back. He's going to be well short of the first down. The Cougars hold. Now will Terry Gallagher and the Prep offense punt this ball. They're inside Cougar territory right near the 45.
The defensive line did their job. They were eating up the linemen, allowed their linebackers to flow. London Montgomery takes the ball, cuts back. Look at this, number 32 and number 5, the inside backers, coming up, flowing, and stopping Montgomery.
Hyde and Walsh on the stop. So Robert Rossi comes in. He's going to kick into his strong wind. And we saw in pregame, his kicks are not going straight up. They're going to the side. Low snap. And as I said, right off the side of his foot. It barely gets to the first down marker right next to Coach Gallagher, who can't believe it. And Valley View will get good field position for their second possession here in the first quarter.
And understand, Robert Rossi is a very good punter, but he is kicking into a 20 to 25 mile hour wind here. And again, a bad snap. He was trying to do a corner kick, and it just rolled off the right side of his foot.
And, you know, Brendan and I were talking about that. Do you even kick on 4th down tonight? You might as well just go for it.
Well, and Prep has done that. They've had a history of going for it, but they want to make sure that they can pin the Cougars in deep.
A little pitch to Hilling. He has speed as well. Rossi shoots in from his safety position. He makes the tackle after a 3-yard gain.
Here they go. They go motion, bring the extra man in play, trying to overlap, seal the edge. Watch Robert Rossi. All of a sudden, he's going to blow up into your screen. Right there, number 11. He came from 15 yards deep, and he just read that perfectly, and he shut him down for a very short gain.
Lewis Marion, the big tight end, comes in the jumbo package, so he's in the game. So a couple tight ends now for Valley View, who have not thrown the ball despite having the wind at their back. So it is a power formation, under a minute to play in the first quarter. Mimo, no room for Hilling, loss of 2 on the play.
And again, number 44, big Michael Gole, 6'2", 240 pounds, was having none of that. He just stone cold stopped him right at the line of scrimmage.
That's why he's an all-star and all-stater as well. 68 total tackles coming in, 4 for a loss. He's also our scholar athlete, which I think Brendan will talk about very shortly. So that should just about do it. They don't need to run a play. So Scranton Prep took their first possession. They took it down the field, and they lead this Lackawanna Football Conference Division II championship game 7-0 after 1.
Welcome back to Valley View for the start of the second quarter. Scranton Prep leads at 7-0. It's time for them to meet our CarVision Nissan Scholar Athletes of the Week. Each week, the schools send us a senior athlete who excels not just on the field, but in the classroom as well. And at the end of the season, one of these athletes will have a chance to win a $5,000 scholarship. Let's meet these 2 student athletes. We've got Michael Gole of Scranton Prep and Valley View's Gia Mazza. Both are outstanding in the classroom and on the field. In addition to being a captain on Prep's football team, Michael also starts on the baseball team and is an honor roll student in the classroom. And Gia is a 3-year member of the tennis team and a 6-year member of the track and field team at Valley View. Gia also the president of Valley View's chapter of the National Honor Society and has been on student council all 4 years of high school. Got some outstanding student athletes to add to the list for that elusive scholarship coming at the end of the season. Bob and Jan?
Well, congratulations to the 2 scholar
Two great
winners.
athletes here.
Wow.
Scholar athletes, again, $5,000 scholarship up for grabs. And I guess I threw to break a little bit too quickly. That was not the end of the first quarter. They just ran one play as we came back and went incomplete. And it was also a timeout called by Valley View on that. So it is now coming into the second quarter. Let's go to our keys to the game, brought to you by Performance Kia, Coach.
Coach Hawanis has been trying to find the key, like everybody else, to stop number 7. Very simple, and he wants to score to try to stay into this game. And right now, that last series, the Cougar defense did a nice job stopping London Montgomery. The question is, can they do that again?
So 4th down, and now timeout called by Scranton Prep on the punt. Now Valley View will kick into the wind. So George Hawanis calls timeout with 1 second left in the quarter because he has the wind at his back and he throws the ball deep. It goes incomplete. Now you have to punt into the wind. So that explains what's going on down the field.
Again, where we are, Bob, up here in the booth, we don't know what the wind conditions are like, but we can just see the flags are almost direct flying out there left to right.
And we know it's not raining because we don't see a lot of umbrellas up as well. So far, pretty much what we expected, a battle of the trenches on the inside. I think so far, Scranton Prep is getting the best of Valley View on both sides, early on.
Early on they did, and then the Cougars settled down, and we saw how they can end up now playing their scheme, and they're starting to get after London Montgomery and actually making him work for it and stopping him, giving him short gains.
So Montgomery is deep. Bushta will kick it into the strong wind. We just saw Robert Rossi do the same thing. And it went to the side. So let's see what happens. The wind picks up. It's going left to right on your screen, and it is strong. He directs it away from Montgomery. It takes a positive bounce for Valley View, and Scranton Prep will take this series right at the 26-yard line. So Prep this year coming off a win over Lake Lehman last week. Their toughest game really was against Tunkhannock. They ended up winning 52-21, but it was a lot closer than that.
It really was. The first half, it was 21-14. and I'm sure the coaches at Prep had really nice talk with their kids at halftime, and they exploded in the third quarter and put the game out of reach.
Montgomery to the left side of his line, up for about 6. So Montgomery's already over 100 yards on the ground rushing here tonight. Not unexpected. I think Valley View will give them some. They'll give them some yards as long as they don't score.
They're going to try that bend 'em don't break type of defensive style tonight. They're going to have to just keep London Montgomery in their sights, but they do have some threats now. Again, they have the wind at their back, and they have the 6'6" Robert Rossi out here at split end.
Montgomery following his pulling guard. He's up for a figure law first down to the 43, a gain of 13. So you saw big number 53, Drew O'Malley leading the way.
Right up inside. He does a different type of pull where he's actually dropping. He's not going off the center's backside. And what that allows him to do is now gain more time, step horizontal, and then go upfield and find his linebacker.
Well, not too hard for Billy Pasqualiccio, the offensive coordinator, to call when you have a London Montgomery back there. Let's see if we'll put it up in the air, though. We have a first flag of the night. So time to check in on some of the referees. Mike Serra is our head ref tonight. In fact, he did last year's game. Remember we did that one. William Legg, Mark Burns, Gary Schimmelfinnig, Tony Blazier, and Dennis Crawley are 18 here tonight in the Lackawanna Football Conference. And again, last year, right around Halloween, we did this game, and maybe to some people's surprise, maybe not Valley View, but, you know, the Cougars came in and really laid it on Scranton Prep. 34-21 was the final.
They were sending a message saying we are for real this year, as they're trying to establish that again this year.
Montgomery right up, taken down from underneath. Let's see who gets 44. Randall comes in to make the stop.
Again, they're just going with that inside RPO, but look at all the blue jerseys. They're actually getting underneath now the Scranton Prep's offensive line, and they're maintaining their gaps, and that's not allowing London Montgomery any room to run.
Let's see if they'll put it up in the air with the wind behind them. Rossi and Liam Barrett come to the near side. Sidecar Montgomery next to Monahan. I don't know if they're changing the play. He's looking to the sidelines. And they're going to run out of time.
And they took the delay.
They took the delay of game. They didn't want to call timeout. And that will back them up 5 yards. So a couple mental mistakes now happening for the Cavaliers.
And that's just not what you want to do. Granted, you have a very, very talented athlete, London Montgomery, back there, but now when you're at 2nd and 16, you got to change your play calling. Because now the Cougars now can dial up a little bit of a blitz, put pressure on.
So Skeen at 5'11" will take the 6'6" Williams as Liam Barrett pulls it in, gets a block from Rossi, picks up just about 8 yards, just past the original line of scrimmage. We have another flag down. Nope, we don't. They're down on the way.
So they go with that motion. There was a little miss bobble right there with the handoff. Rossi doing a great job on his stalk block there on number 4 of the Cougars. That was Colin Skeen that he took care of, and that was why he was able to turn that corner and gain that extra yardage.
Valley View rushes 5. They give it to Montgomery, and nowhere to go.
Robert Altieri, number 67, the 5'10", 220-pound junior, just comes in and just shut that down. Right in there. He shrugs the man, and he comes right off the block, and he just wraps him up.
Timed that well. Big tackle for Altieri. His 4th tackle for a loss and a big one. Now Rossi is into punt with the wind at his back. Low snap again. Nice high hanging kick away from Skeen, and it goes out of bounds. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Past the 30. Past the 35-yard line. That's where Valley View will take over, down 7-0.
Allied Services is offering up to a $25,000 sign-on bonus right now. Call to make an appointment, 570-348-2222. CNAs can earn a $15,000 sign-on bonus. LPNs can earn a $20,000 sign-on bonus, and RNs a $25,000 bonus as well. Call now and learn why a career at Allied Services is right for you.
Hilling with his longest run of the night, pushed out of bounds by Montgomery, just at the 17-yard line. So a big gain for Connor Hilling.
Well, he's our Toyota Spotlight player, and you see why. This is how the Cougars have been successful since the departure of Adam Juanes, and they're getting right back on the ball very quickly.
Randall right up the middle, taken down underneath by Golay. Inside the Allied Services red zone.
They run a fullback trap. You'll see the right guard here, Jacob Casarine. There he goes. Pops it up inside Randall for the hard 3-yard gain.
So first opportunity of the night for the Cougars. And a 38-yard run by Connor Hilling. Hilling weaves through, held up by, looks like O'Malley in there, and Schnippes maybe. Bringing up third down now for Valley View.
Again, Prep's playing very physical. Again, this is a tough 2-yard gain. It's the remnants of the old counter trey where the right guard, right tackle, James Casarine and Tyler Schwartz are pulling from their right, going to their left.
Hilling the single back. They're going to go to the inside to Randall. Randall's going to be up for a figure law first down inside the 5 for Valley View.
They pulled out a wing T play off of this play action. They go with the motion, fake the toss, back inside, and look at that block by number 71, Tyler Schwartz. He got himself a little bit of a pancake right there. He knocked him right back.
McGuire with the tackle. First and goal for Valley View, down 7-0. They start this drive at the 35. High snap, and we have an illegal motion against the Cougars. So they moved a little bit early, backed them up 5. Let's see how that costs them, but they'll still have a full set of downs to get this one in.
That was an interesting formation. The Cougars come out with a double tight. They went with an offset eye shotgun with the flanker to the right of the quarterback. Interesting.
The Cougars coming off a win last week over Western Wayne, 42-7 right here. Everyone up near the line of scrimmage expecting a run. Skeen catches it. Breaks one tackle, and it's a U.S. Army touchdown for Valley View.
You'll see this play again. That was the formation we're talking about, and they end up going with the quarterback going opposite, but they pulled the left guard tackle to the right and kicked out. What a great job with play action. What a great way to answer Scranton Prep's first quarter touchdown.
So the extra point, Bush is up and good. 6:37 remaining. And it's a 5-play, 65-yard drive, and we're tied at 7. Oh, the student section for Valley View happy about that drive. The big play. Hilling with the 38-yard run. Skeen takes it in, and we're tied at 7. And I think it just started to rain a little bit more, but the wind has really picked up here at John Hens's Veterans Memorial Stadium. Bob Ide, along with Jan Sechak, Brendan Murphy down on the sidelines, and the ball, talked about the wind, just fell off the tee. But a nice drive, some positive confidence for Valley View after 2 3-and-outs in the first quarter.
Well, and again, the Hilling run set that entire drive up, brought the momentum back. The sideline here, the stands for Valley View are almost packed, and it brought the fans back into the game. And that's really going to be key for them for the rest of this game.
So Cole's kick goes out of bounds. So Scranton Prep will have it up. And again, do they have to do anything differently on offense? They had a nice opening drive. And then the second time, Valley View's now kind of knows what they're doing and kind of figured it out.
Well, again, when you have a caliber running back of London Montgomery coming at you, he's going to have it for that first quarter or the first drive because you're not sure. You never played against him like that, and he's much improved from last year. The defensive coaches, they adjusted. They made schemes, and they're starting to figure out. Maybe Coach Hawan said he wants to be able to contain 7.
So after the 5-yard penalty, Coach Gallagher says, we want to kick it again. We think we can improve on the 35-yard line. So Cole will tee it up one more time. It stays on the tee, little squibber. And right to Golay, and guess right at the 36-yard line. So you gain 1 on
1
that.
yard. I was always a proponent of having the kickoff team do it again because kids are just, the adrenaline's flowing for that first one. And I think it goes to your advantage because now to try to restage that, get that adrenaline right where it should be is always tough.
So the defense for Valley View playing very well, giving up just 9.5 points per game. They have 12 sacks coming in on the year. But again, this will be the best offense they've faced since Dallas and Delaware Valley to begin the year. Those offenses really didn't get start going till the second half of the year. Let's see what Monahan wants to do. Nowhere to go for London Montgomery. He'll lose a yard.
Well, Montgomery and Big Anthony Nicotera were the pulling guards on this, trying to set up that outside sweep in there. You see 52 in your screen. And again, Valley View, they just spilled that over. It brought the linebackers up, right up real quick, and there was nothing there for them.
Of course, Monahan against Tunkhannock had really a game of his career. 7 of 11, 227 yards and 4 touchdowns. But again, that's a game London Montgomery did not play. So now Montgomery goes to the far side. Monahan looking for Rossi. He had Rossi momentarily. He didn't want to pull the trigger, and he's going to be taken down after
number 20, Chris Consaretti.
Yep, a 1-yard gain, if that.
Nice job of secondary coverage for the Cougars right now. This is the first pass attempt we've seen by Prep. Look him check off. He's looking, and he held on to it to the last minute, trying to make something happen. And again, the Cougars, very good defense.
I thought Rossi was open on a little curl-in pattern, but he just didn't want to pull the trigger. So 3rd and long now for Scranton Prep, who hasn't done anything since their opening drive. Montgomery powers through. It'll be 4th down and 6 now.
Well, they're selling out. The Cougars are selling out. Prep went to a trips to the left side, and you see number 20, who's their cornerback. He just sold out and came up, and he was that extra man in there, along with the rest of that defensive line, and they just dropped him for a short gain.
Yeah, Dante Randall, the senior, came in with 47 total tackles, came in from the outside. Another bad snap to Rossi. That's the 3rd time, but he gets this one away with the win, and Skeen touched it. He picks it back up, though, at the 14. Has some blocking, has a small gap. Holding on to the ball. He did. So Valley View will have it about the 38-yard line, and now into the rain, into the wind we go. But we still have smiles here. It's Dr. Todd's Smile Cam
got to be
time.
smiling.
Brendan?
It is Bob, Dr. Todd Smile Cam. I've got one of the best student sections we've seen all year with the Valley View Cougars. There's got to be 200, maybe even 300 people out here braving the elements, doing an unbelievable job cheering on their team. It's a huge game, a lot on the line. They're here to support. Let's see those smiles, guys.
Dr. Todd's smile cam may have worked. Skeen takes it on the Wildcat for 13 yards, a figure law first down inside Cavalier territory.
And he was brought down by number 31, Aiden Colleran, on this. What they ran, again, it's like the counter trade. They're bringing the right guard, right tackle. Quarterback was patient, and they just waited, and he just picked that and got a huge first down.
Yeah, their running game is starting to power through this defensive line of Scranton Prep. Randall, he motors up. 9 yards, 1 yard short of the line to gain. So Prep wanted to play physical. Well, Valley View can play physical as well.
And on that play right there, James Kessry, number 64, they go with the fullback trap. He goes from his right side, folds up into the left, and that way that allowed Randall to gain 9 yards on that last play.
What's funny is both coaches, head coaches, are the defensive coordinator. So both had to figure out how to stop their offenses as they come up Valley View for a figure law first down up to the 33.
Well, Valley View, after that touchdown, they brought their fans back into this, and you'll see right there, they now go with the power. Not so much a trap, it's a power. The front side guard is pulling.
They're getting into the secondary, past that defensive front for Scranton Prep, where early on in this game they couldn't do that.
And we talk about that all the time. You want your linemen to take care of the first level, get your eyes to second, then peel off and get to it. And they're getting to it quickly.
Skeen, about a 2 yard gain, if that.
He was brought down by number 6.
Durkin, Andrew Durkin.
Andrew Durkin does
senior.
a nice job. Standing outside, stands his ground. Look, he's waiting for him. The only thing I'm sure Coach Gallagher will say, attack him. Don't wait for it. Don't take the hit, give the hit.
We've had only one pass in this game attempted, and that was at the end of the first quarter by Valley View. 2 passes?
Prep had the one.
Oh, that's right.
In the second quarter, yep. So we got one for each team.
On a cold, windy night in Peckville. Skeen, Wildcat, finds room. He's into the secondary again, and he's up close to a figure law first down. It's going to be just about short.
Yeah, it's interesting with the spot. I don't know if he lost control of the ball at the end. And you'll see, there you go. You see those big boys coming along down the line, going for that quarterback keep. Number 11 Rossi does a nice job coming up there, grabbing, and gets help from his teammates there to drop him.
Well, that Wildcat is working with Skeen. Picked up another 10 yards. Power eye. Hilling, taken down by Durkin, but not after gaining about 4 more yards.
Well, they put big number 87 in there at the power back, and you're going to see him come into your screen right there. He's just taking on defensive linemen and pushing them downfield.
That's Marion, who also plays defensive tackle. So big Lewis Marion.
280 pounds coming at you.
Mimo in the backfield by himself. He's going to throw into the wind. He's going to go, and then the wind takes it. And we have no flag on the play. Coverage by Aiden Colleran. And you can see the ball up in the air just be taken by the wind.
It just all of a sudden floated sideways and started to come backwards.
The Valley View fans, rightfully so, might want some kind of interference there, and you might be right.
Well, I don't know.
The ball was underthrown.
It was underthrown. At the college level, they would have said it was an uncatchable ball, but they're going to let these two teams play tonight. Unless it's super flagrant, they're going to let the kids determine how the outcome of this game goes.
So from inside the Allied Services red zone, 3rd and long, now facing the Cougars. Screen to Randall. Room and blockers. Taken down at the 13.
And number 7 comes up and makes the first big hit, and then he was swallowed up by number 6, Andrew Durkin.
27 seconds left, timeout, Valley View.
Look at that, there's another shot of that. And again, look at that hit. Number 6, Andrew Durkin put that shoulder right into him.
It was a figure law first down. So the ball is just outside the 10-yard line, about the 12, and there you saw what Valley View. And, you know, a lot of questions on who had the tougher schedule coming into this game. Of course, Dallas and Delaware Valley are going to be into the district playoffs, and the rest of the games are probably kind of easy for the Cougars.
Well, absolutely. When you have a big, strong football team, you're going to roll through that schedule. All those teams are good. Scranton, West Scranton is built in that rebuilding phase because they have a brand new his second year as a head coach. So you can't ever take any opponent lightly because the footballs bounce so funny. That's why they're not round. You can't predict how they're going to go.
So one timeout for both teams, 27 seconds left in this first half already. If you want to kick a field goal, you're going into a very strong win. Mimo rolling, looking to the end zone. Good pass, and it is caught at the 1. It's a figure law first down. It's caught by McIntyre, but not for a touchdown.
Huh. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. He caught the ball in the end zone and was pushed back to the 1 yard. So I'm not.
I don't know if we can see that again from the end zone. First and goal for the 1 for Valley View to take the lead.
Interesting that they get the ball to start the second half also.
Power I. Hilling is short. Short by 1. Timeout called, 10 seconds left. I'm not sure. The Golay came up to make the play.
This is the play right before on the pass play.
So McIntyre, where does he catch it?
One.
Oh, that's a touchdown.
That is a touchdown. It's not the professionals. You only have to have 1 foot in high school. But we don't have reviews, and I can understand the frustration of the Valley View Cougars here, folks.
The ball is rolling now, and hopefully the referees know where it is.
And
now here's the last play.
Let's see. They run with the ISO play inside. Look at the gap right there for Hilling. Let's see, and Golay's a big boy. I can't see where the ball.
Yeah.
Well,
we don't have a camera down the line, which is okay, but you know, give Scranton Prep credit.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Ball, it couldn't be any closer. Now, if you watch last night's NFL game, Green Bay had the same thing. They had the ball just about where Valley View has it, and they couldn't score.
They couldn't, but again, Prep right now has to find it. They're going to have to dig really deep right now and play extra low to take away the offensive line so they can't get moved out of the way.
One thing Valley View does not want is a penalty. Here we go. 10 seconds left in the half. Line them up. Here we go. Hilling hit at the line of scrimmage. No signal yet. They say he's short, and Valley View does not have a timeout. And the half will end on that defensive stand by Scranton Prep.
Hilling right now is limping out on the field.
The Valley View fans are stunned. The Scranton Prep fans are cheering. Here we go, look at it again.
Number 33 for Scranton Prep does it.
Mick O'Malley hit him behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he got the ball in right there. The referee's right there. They had to see it, and they mark it just short, and Valley View did not have a timeout.
And the rain just started to come down right at half.
Coach Hawanis walking off the field. Brendan will try and grab him, but he is not going to be happy going into the locker room, tied at 7, having the ball with 1 foot left. Brendan, what's Coach have to say?
Coach, that was an interesting drive. What were you thinking after they ruled him short there?
Well, I mean, I thought we were in the play before and the play before that, but hey, credit to them. They played good on D, and I thought we responded well after their score in the first quarter, and we'll keep fighting, and this is what you expect when 2 good teams are playing.
Yeah, you mentioned that their early score in the first quarter. You made some changes defensively. What were you able to do scheme-wise to slow them down?
We didn't change anything. We just tackled number 7. So if you can tackle him, before he gets going downhill, we think we have a good chance. And I thought we did that much better as the game went on.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Bob?
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Coach Hawanitz. Coming up at the Toyota halftime report, we'll hand it over to Hannah O'Reilly with some special interviews. Jan and I will be back to break down the first half, and we'll have the third quarter and the fourth quarter here from John Hens' Veterans Memorial Stadium. It's a classic. It's 7-7 here in the rain.
Today I am joined by Glenn Bazinski. He is the Vice President of Enrollment here at Misericordia University. Glenn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for coming out, Hannah, on this beautiful autumn day, fall foliage all around us and right in front of our beautiful new Henry Science Building.
Yeah, now this building, it's beautiful. We have to talk more about it. Can you tell me what this is?
Absolutely. Henry Science Center is newly opened on campus here. It serves all our natural sciences for students who want to study biology, chemistry, biochemistry, pre-med, pre-vet, etc. It also serves our large nursing program and physical therapy, speech pathology, occupational therapy program, and really any other student who's going to take a science course or science courses along the way. There really is something for everybody in this building, including students who are going to major in our brand new program, Environmental Studies.
Now, there's always something going on at Misericordia. Can you talk to me about any upcoming events for maybe potential students?
We really are open year-round for students to visit campus. Throughout the entire academic year, we're here Monday through Friday for individual visits where a student or their family can come on out, meet with our admission staff, meet with faculty, get a tour of campus, great at this time of year. We're also open most Saturdays as well for families that can't conveniently get here during the week. Even in the summer, we're open weekdays for visits, so almost every day there are students checking out Misericordia. First-year students, transfer students, even part-time and graduate students.
And now I heard there's an incentive for students who are thinking about enrolling. Can you talk more about that?
Exactly. This coming January, for January 22, we know that families have struggled financially, that adult learners are perhaps retooling their skill set, thinking about coming back to school. So we want to make that a little bit easier. What we've put together is a program we call 25 for 22, by which any new student at the graduate level, part-time, undergraduate accelerated degree programs, etc., that when they come in, any credits they take in their first semester, the January of 22 semester, they'll get 25% off those credits. Correspondingly, for full-time students, new transfer students, even new first-year students who may have deferred their college enrollment for a semester, they will get a one-time $5,000 scholarship for their first semester if they start in January of 22.
Well, Glenn, thank you so much for joining us today. And if anybody wants to enroll at Misericordia University,
just misericordia.edu is the easiest way to find us. Lots of great information on our website and a way to set up visits or contact our staff.
Okay, like he said, if you're interested in learning more about Misericordia University or thinking about enrolling, you can head to misericordia.edu. Welcome back. I'm joined by Shannon Dunleavy of Allied Services. Now, Shannon, you're not just a nurse, you're more than that. Talk to me about what your position is.
So I am the charge nurse at the Developmental Services Division of Allied Services. So we specialize in care for adults with mental and physical disabilities.
And what is one of the challenges you would say about your position?
Really knowing the clients. We have a huge range of clients, from those that are profound to those who are just like us. They really relate to the staff, they relate to their caretakers, they treat us as family. So you have to really understand what they need and how to communicate with them.
And what would you say is probably the most rewarding part about working with them?
The clients, absolutely. They all have their different personalities, they all have the staff that they really love and they treat as family. And we're those people, they look forward to seeing us every day. They run to the door, and it's just a magical experience, it really is.
And now, not only your position, but Allied as a whole, what's the best part about working here?
Just the range of anything that you want to do. I work with those that are mentally disabled, but there's anything you want to do. If you want to go to the terrace and work with people that are a little bit more active, or you can work at rehab and see them get better and go to home.
And if somebody wanted to join the Allied Services team, are there positions available right now?
Absolutely. From nurses, RNs, LPNs, per diems, we have even full-time and call-in positions, and our resident assistants. We always need people to take care of these guys.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
And if you would like to join the Allied Services team, you can head to alliedservices.org/careers. We'll be right back.
I'm Bill Conboy. I'm President and CEO of Allied Services Integrated Healthcare System, and we're very pleased for the third year in a row to be a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. Particularly during these struggles and these difficult times, our thousands of employees believe it's so important to this community to bring Friday night football to families throughout Northeast and Central Pennsylvania. So we look forward to another great season, and again, we're very pleased to be a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals.
On behalf of Allied Services and MyTV WQMY, we're happy to present a $250 check to Chris Kelliani, the athletic director here at Valley View High School. We'll bring it back into the booth right now. Bob Ide and Jan Cechak. Yes, we are warm, we are dry, but outside we can't say that for the fans and the teams.
And don't forget our crew.
And our crew, of course, doing a fantastic job.
And what a great game we have. Bob, you mentioned it earlier. We have a classic going on right here. Two great teams going at it, and we'll talk. Yeah.
How close is it? How close is it?
How close is it, Bob?
Well, Prep has 137 total yards. Valley View has 136. We're tied at 7. Let's talk about that last series. 11-play drive, 62 yards. They came up 1 yard short for Valley View. How much does that help Scranton Prep going into the locker room?
That helped gain some of the momentum back. The problem is Valley View gets the ball to start the second half. So we're going to see another great half of football.
We saw 2 long drives. Scranton Prep opened with an 80-yard drive. All London Montgomery. Valley View countered in the second quarter with a 65-yard drive. So the offenses that average in the 40s, they're not going to reach that tonight.
No.
But that's due to, what, 2 things, probably weather and the defenses.
Well, the weather's playing a little bit of that because the pass game is almost non-existent. But the way these two teams are playing, hitting, and going after it, that's why we have such a low-scoring game.
Well, let's take a look at some of the first-half highlights, if you will, as we go into the truck under the direction of Ernie Mangolia, our replay director. And, of course, London Montgomery on that opening drive had 78 yards on 8 carries. He led the way for Scranton Prep, but Valley View, they're hitting, and they're not going to back down.
Their defense started swarming and big plays. But this is what makes London Montgomery so special, that he's able, and I thought this game was going to get out of hand awful quickly. But the Cougars come back, and their Toyota Spotlight player gains 38 yards on 1 play and sets them up for their scoring drive.
Yeah, Hilling has 73 total yards running. Skeen has 25. You know, you want to see the stars in this game. You get to see the stars. Montgomery overall 126 total yards, but really they're hard 126 total yards.
He is earning it so hard. I'd have to say the first 6 games, he's had an easy go of it. This is what happens when you're playing a championship caliber team.
Both teams are on the field. It should be an outstanding second half here on MyTV. We'll be right back. We're back at Valley View, a big night last week of the regular season. Still a lot of playoff points in hand, and the AAA still up for grabs.
.01 is the difference who's going to get that first round, the first team in there. Wyoming area is beating Princeton right now. Scranton Prep in a dogfight. Lakeland barely got by Dunmore last night. So this is, it sounds so cliche. It's wide open.
Just 7 teams now in 3A. Wyoming, whoever gets the top seed in 3A will get a bye in the first round, and that's huge.
That will be, especially if Scranton Prep is able to do that tonight. They're going to need it after this game that Valley View, the Cougars, are laying on top of them. They are just hitting them crazy.
In 4A, Valley View pretty much has it wrapped up. It's hard for, even if they lose tonight, for Dallas to overtake them, and North Pocono, who's playing Delaware Valley, it'd be close for them to overtake them. So you figure Valley View is going to be the top seed, but that 4A is also going to be a battle as well.
And again, there's 8 teams that go into that, and they don't get a bye that first week. So Valley View, as it was looking earlier in the week, they would have been playing Tunkhannock at home, and then. But the way things are shaping up right now, Crestwood is beating Wyoming Valley West. And if they get that win, that gives them the power points, and they will jump into that probable 8th spot. And then they'll have to face Valley View here.
Okay, Cougars will get possession here into the third quarter with the wind at their back. Ronaldi tees it up, and we are underway for the second half. Tied at 7. Picked up by Skeen. Skeen has speed, and he almost had room. Durkin had his shoelaces. He stops him, and the Cougars will have it at the 47-yard line. Coach Gallagher talked to Brendan. And Brendan, what did he have to say?
Yeah, Bob, he thought his team played very well in that first half. Played pretty physical. They want to stay that way. He did comment on the penalties. They're committing a little bit more penalties than they would like. They got to protect the football. That stop at the end of that first half was huge for his team. He thinks it's going to be a major momentum shift, especially if they can get a stop with Valley View's first possession here in the second half. Bob?
And they're going to have to be physical as well, because I got to tell you, the Cougars really dominated that second quarter, being physical with Scranton Prep, and it showed on that first play. Hilling comes up for just about 7 yards.
And he hits that so quick. The scat back, as Coach Hawan has called him, is doing what he does best. Getting that little hole, hitting it up in there. Coach Gallagher, we just saw right before that, looked like he was talking to his defense about some things.
Good move by Hilling. Up for a figure law first down inside Cavalier territory.
Well, right now, they're coming out with a great game plan. They're going to just try to pound this ball down the throat. One thing that the Cougars are doing right now is they're getting stood up by that big defensive line of Scranton Prep. They're going to have to start staying lower, and they're going to have to keep those arms extended, because we're going to start seeing a little bit of the laundry coming from the officials.
McGuire with the tackle, almost a saving tackle as well. They'll give it to Randall. He breaks through. The fullback is into the secondary. Rossi rips him down. A gain of 17 and a Keystone College first down for the Cougars.
And again, number 64, James Cassarine's having a great game. They go with the fullback trap. You see him come up. He hits the 3 technique. And again, that just sprung Randall for that big first down.
Simmons, Cassarine, Kozlowski, James Cassarine, and Tyler Schwartz starting to take over this game. Up front, Randall stood up at the line of scrimmage. Gain of 2 at best.
Well, that time they tried getting Hilling to be the lead back on that, and he just got bounced off. He got shrugged away from the linebacker. The linebacker stepped up, did a real nice job in there. Mick O'Malley, you'll see it up in there. He just pounces him off, and he still makes the play. That's a great effort by O'Malley.
Both of these teams, the starters anyway, don't get to see the second half a lot this year. How much will that play a factor?
It will, especially on a cold, windy night like tonight. It's gonna get the fatigue going pretty quick.
Skeen from the Wildcat, look to throw. Now he's caught in the backfield, and the whistle did not blow. He breaks 4 tackles. Talk about making something out of nothing. How about Colin Skeen, the senior, a gain of 9.
See, this is amazing. What great job and determination by Skeen right here. Cuts it back inside. He gets wrapped up. Shoelaces. He's got it. No whistle. He kept going. And he does it again. And then right there, we see Rossi coming up to get him, push him out of bounds.
Well, how would you like to be Drew O'Malley? He thought he had him, but Skeen got out, almost lost the shoe. 3rd and short. Hilling shifty. Golay takes him right at the line to gain. Let's see where they mark it. I don't know. I think the spot might be just short, as Golay came up and made a physical hit on Hilling, and he's going to be about a half-yard short, 4th and 1.
That defensive line, number 70, does a nice job in there. Adam Kenny for the Prep Cavaliers defensive line, and that allowed big number 44 to come up there and make that stop.
We have an injured Cavalier on the field. I don't know who that is. That might be Golay. I'm looking for number 44, or is it Durkin? We'll find out. But
looks like a single
Durkin.
digit. Yeah, that's who I believe
Andrew
it is.
Durkin, the senior, the starting outside linebacker, is on the field, and he's moving around, which is good. Coach Gallagher says, I'll help you up.
You're coming out for one play, and I would suspect David McIntyre, the 6'3", 190-pound senior, will be coming in to fill in for him. So let's see on the play.
Here's the replay of the
There's
last.
Golay coming up. Look at that. The window opens, and he just shoots in there. See if we can find number 6.
I didn't see number 6 anywhere.
Oh, he's there,
Oh,
right? Yep.
Maybe hit from behind.
I think he got rolled up on.
Okay, so 4th and 1 now. And the wind blowing again left to right. And the rain is just about started. Power I. Hilling has the Keystone College first down. Still on his feet inside the 20. The whistle blows, and it'll be first down for Valley View inside the Allied Services red zone on the opening drive of this third quarter.
Talk about smash mouth football here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's about. The offensive linemen are taking matters into their own hands. The defense, that time, they went to a split 6 from their base 4-4. They brought the 2 outside linebackers up, so there were 6 men on the line of scrimmage. And then, again, the offensive line just dominated on that play.
Yeah, I don't expect a pass anytime soon. Skeen from the Wildcat. Off the left side, didn't get the block. He's taken down. About a 3-yard gain.
Well, he ran away from the formation that time. They were a heavy right, and he went to the left. And a great job, the Prep kids, in terms of being disciplined and not abandoning and flying out of there. They played great assignment football and shut them down.
This drive started at their own 42. We're early on in the third quarter. There you see the rain coming in, going sideways. And it's really starting to pick up. Skeen again. This time, Prep does a nice job. London Montgomery shoots in, along with TJ Rogue. They string them out, and it's a loss on the play. Back to the 22.
Now this time they go to the heavy side. They go to where their formation strength is. And again, look at this, how they just come. London Montgomery, again, coming up from his cornerback spot to get that first hit, and then supporting help from the rest of the defense.
This is the heaviest rain we've seen since kickoff, and not unexpected. Coach, get the windshield wipers for the press box, will you? So Mimo back in, the quarterback on 3rd down and long. There you can see how windy it is. Our cameras are shaking. And a timeout going to be called by the Cougars. 6:44 left in the third. Okay, we talked about the 4A standings, so now time to check it out. And you mentioned Crestwood winning, what that would mean if Tunkhannock loses their game.
And if we had seen all 8, the bottom teams 6, 7, and 8 were separated by 0.2 of a point.
Yeah, they're all like 3 and 6. There are 3 teams tied at 3 and 6, and then Crestwood's at 2 and 7. And it all comes down to tonight's games, pretty much to lock this one up. Berwick Valley West was moved to tomorrow, but really I think Berwick's holding on to that 4 seed. I expect it pretty much to stay the same after tonight.
I think so. Wallen-Paulpack is actually winning right now too, so that's going to solidify their standings in the Quad A playoffs for District 2.
Umbrellas are coming out, ponchos are going on. The student sections remain intact. So 3rd down and 14 now facing the Cougars. The wind is behind them. Mimo is the quarterback, but again, the conditions are worsening. They're going to look to pass. No one open. To the end zone, well out of bounds. Try and hit Skeen on the outside. No flags are down, and good coverage in the secondary from Scranton Prep. 4th down, and I think he might go for a field goal.
Well, he was trying to throw into triple coverage. Great discipline by the secondary of the Cavaliers right there. He had a lot of time to throw the ball, and I believe with the way that wind's kicking, that's why that ball was thrown out of bounds.
So
like
Matt
that.
Cole comes in. He's 3 for 4 on field goals. He has a long of 36. It will be placed at the 34-yard line. So this is a 39-yard attempt for Cole with the wind behind him. Kick is up, and it is good. Valley View gets a field goal, and they take the 10-7 lead. 6:31 remaining in the 3rd quarter. That is trusting your kicker.
And again, it didn't hurt having that wind at your back. But again, the wind is so tricky, he really had to place that ball perfectly for that to go through, and he did. Coach Hawanitz right now, he knows this game is far from over, but one of the keys he wanted to do was try to stop number 7, and by doing that, they took off 5.5 minutes of that quarter. So that's one way that you can keep the ball away from London Montgomery.
It's time of possession, and that drive started at the 42. 11-play drive. But Prep holds, and they keep Valley View out of the end zone. And now they'll send Montgomery and Barrett deep. I doubt they're going to kick the ball deep. I expect more to go lay and rogue at the 25 to get it, or one of the up men. So Cole, after the field goal, has it teed up for the kickoff. It is long and it is deep, and a great kick for Cole. A touchback in high school is very rare, but that's what we'll see. And Scranton Prep comes out now after Valley View has scored the last 10 points in this game.
Well,
what changes do the Cavaliers make at halftime, trying to get back to what was successful on their first possession of the game?
Well, now they're going to have to do what they do best. We're going to feed the ball to London Montgomery this quarter because we're not going to try to attempt throwing into the wind for as strong as it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot of ISO with big goal up front, lead blocking, and smashing into people.
Montgomery with Golay leading the way. Montgomery into the secondary. Up for a Keystone College first down. A gain of 10. They'll move the chains on this one. I didn't see who made the tackle, but good blocking up front from the Cavalier offensive line.
Do a great job. They go with the lead in there. You see number 53, Drew O'Malley, pulling from his left guard onto the right side.
If you're London Montgomery, that's what you want to do. Get into the secondary for Valley View. Little toss. He tries to get to the outside. Breaks 2 tackles, 3, 4, and he's inside Cougar territory down to the 38-yard line.
Bob, you said, what do the Cavaliers have to do? Well, they looked at their first 10 plays that they scripted, and this looks identical to what they ran in the first quarter. Nice job by London Montgomery on the toss. We got to wrap him up, boys. You know that's what the defensive coaches are telling them now.
32-yard gain for Montgomery, who's up near 170 yards now rushing, but that is not unusual for the Cavaliers.
For London Montgomery, that would be considered a down night.
Okay, now what I see, Golay is limping. He's gone over to check with the trainer. So we'll have a timeout on the field. And Brendan, are there any smiles out there in this windy, rainy, yucky night?
Yeah, Bob, we got the Valley View cheerleaders here. The weather may be getting worse, but I don't think they care. They're still really into this game. Their team's up 10-7. Let's see those smiles, ladies.
to be youthful again. I'm cold just standing here.
And we're inside.
And we're inside. Okay, so Golay goes out. He's being looked at on the sideline. Schnippis comes in to play fullback now, number 34 coach. He's a sophomore, but he's still 250 pounds and a big leading blocker for London Montgomery. He gains about 5. I think more importantly, losing Golay on defense will be a bigger loss.
That's a bigger loss. Hopefully he's okay. And again, that's where Prep, they have the next man mentality up, next man up. And you see, here comes a kid coming right off the bench. Cold hasn't played, and he does a great job blocking for London Montgomery in there.
Yeah, Golay just gets a drink. I think he's fine. He'll probably be back in soon, and we'll line it up again. Right to number 7 again. 2 yards short of a Keystone College first down.
Well, they're running that ISO play with the fullback, the big fullback leading up in there, and they're starting to move the defensive line. The Cougars are coming off the ball fast and neutralizing, but again, they're just being overtaken at the last second, allowing Montgomery to squeeze in there.
Now, Coach Hawanitz shifting his defensive tackles and defensive ends in and out, keeping them fresh throughout the game. Scranton Prep playing a little bit more on both sides. Nothing fancy tonight, folks. Montgomery shoots through. Keystone College first down to the 25.
Well, we alluded to the fact earlier that these teams are playing smash mouth football, and this is a great example of it. When you have your offensive line just stalemating the defensive line and have it sending the fullback up there to blow up the linebacker on these ISO plays, that's what Scranton Prep has done all year. They're bread and butter.
Colleran, number 31, also in there blocking. Montgomery following his lineman through. Up near the 20. About 3 more yards. I'm not sure, even with the weather, I don't know if the offense have changed that much. I mean, this is what we expected coming in. It just happens to be rainy and cold.
Rainy and cold, and what Valley View just did on that last defensive series, they had 5 guys down, so they shifted their defensive front around to try to get more men at the line of scrimmage.
This time Valley View is there. Short gain brings up 3rd down and 5 right at the Allied Services red zone.
That was a little bit more of a power move right there with the tackle coming. Guard tackle pulling through, and the Cougars did a nice job reading that. Look at that. The gap opens up. They're still flowing hard, and they make that stop.
I didn't see who made the stop with on that. Kind of watching the monitors, folks, because our windows are a little bit rainy right now. A little pinch to Montgomery. If he gets to the outside, he's got speed. He does. He's into the secondary. Now he uses his power, puts his head down, 1st and goal. Scranton Prep after the Keystone College first down, gain of 17.
Prep comes back with that toss play again. That London Montgomery really does a nice job. He's got great vision. He's very patient with his runs. He's got a good burst, and now you just see the power that young man has gained as a 1 year more in the weight room with that experience.
Golay back in at fullback. 1st and goal inside the Allied Services red zone for Scranton Prep, trying to take the lead. Montgomery behind his line. The signal is a U.S. Army touchdown, Scranton Prep, 2:28 remaining in the 3rd. 80-yard drive, all number 7.
Well, the linebacker number 5 stepped up and then got blocked down. That was Dylan Walsh that you saw on your screen, folks, that stepped up and then he got blocked down, and that's where London Montgomery went.
Great response from Scranton Prep after the field goal from Valley View. They marched down in 9 plays. Rinaldi in for a key extra point. Into the wind is up and through. So Prep retakes the lead. It's 14-10 in Peckville. Well, the conditions, folks, are not getting any better. Our crew doing an outstanding job tonight. Ben Stout and Coy Wilson up top above us. And we can feel the press box shaking. But what a response from Scranton Prep. They go 80 yards, all into Montgomery, and they take a 14-10 lead here in the third quarter. We will do our best to get our lenses clean. We're doing the best we can. The crew in these adverse conditions doing an outstanding job. The wind is moving left to right, and it is rainy, as you can see. So Rinaldi tees it up. He squibs this one short again. He's done this most of the night. Skeen has it. Looking for somewhere to go. Kyle around. He gets to the outside. He has room. About 7 white jerseys take down Skeen, and they'll mark it at the 33-yard line. And Valley View now trailing in this game by 4.
Friday Night Rivals is sponsored by Keystone College. Your career starts here with over 40 degree options, the lowest tuition, and a giant education. Register for a virtual open house on Tuesday, November 16th.
First play goes to Hilling, and he's taken down quickly by Schnippes, I think. A gain of 1 at best. And momentum now on the team in the white. Late here in the third quarter after that drive.
It's like deja vu watching that first quarter again. It's like almost playing out identical. So this will be interesting. They've got to respond right now. Just get another first down and keep the drive alive.
Healing again, and there's that Prep defense. This time they wrap him up, and half-yard gain. 3rd and long now upcoming for Valley View.
Nick O'Malley, the junior linebacker coming up in there. The defensive line, watch their technique, folks, how they're shooting their hands to get separation, to allow them now to get around the offensive lineman, take up the offensive lineman's time so the linebackers now can flow and then make the tackles.
Looks like Prep might bring in an extra defensive back in this one, maybe expecting a pass on 3rd and 7 with the wind behind the Cougars. Flag comes in. This may be coming back, and the wet ball couldn't be handled by McIntyre. Sean McIntyre goes in and out of his hands. This is going to go against, but 2 men moving. Should be declined. And it'll bring up 4th down. And to say the conditions are worsening, they are.
And on this play, you're right, Bob, the Prep defense, and I saw this on film against Tunkhannock, because Tunkhannock is a one-back run-and-shoot team. They went to a 3-man front, and they put that extra defensive defender back there. London Montgomery is deep now for the punt return.
So Bushta is back to kick. Montgomery is deep. A low snap. He gets it off away from Montgomery. Decent kick, but this one is going to come up past the 40. Let's see where they mark it. Right at the 40-yard line. That's where Scranton Prep will take over. Up 14-10, 41 seconds left. We're doing our best with the lenses. It is nasty outside. Nasty would be an understatement.
And our crew, again, my hat's off to these guys, that they are true professionals, giving us great views, great action. Look at how clear those lenses look right now. Guys, thank you. I know our fans at home appreciate that, they are able to stay in the comfort of their warm homes and to watch a great football game.
So they go into the eye to give it to Montgomery. And he's taken down quickly. Good defense on the inside from
Robert Altieri.
Robert Altieri, thank you. Go ahead.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry, Coach. We still have true sportsmanship going on. Even though I'm going to knock you down, I'm going to help you get back up. And you'll see that right there. Altieri does a nice job taking on the block, and then he swims off it, makes the tackle.
The time will run out, and the third quarter will end. Both teams got on the board, but it's Prep by 4 as we head to quarter number 4. Welcome back to a windy, rainy, nasty night at John Hens' Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Lackawanna Football Conference Division II Championship on the line in adverse conditions. The Cavaliers head into this quarter up 4, and with the ball, London Montgomery shoots through up close, and he will have a Keystone College first down right at midfield. And we're going to apologize. We're doing the best with our cameras. We lost one camera already. Again, it is really rainy and nasty out, and we'll try to give you the best pictures we can. If not, Coach and I will start to describe things a little like radio.
Going way back when. If anybody remember radio?
Hey, we have a lot of friends in radio, please.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so the ball's right at midfield. Scranton Prep comes out, going left to right. They'll line up in the I formation. Sean Monahan underneath center. They'll give it to Montgomery, looking for a gap. He puts his head down. The pile is still moving. He's up for 9 yards to the 41-yard line. All under Montgomery using his legs.
Valley View's Cougars that time on the defensive side of that, they ended up playing a 6-1 gap, bringing the extra pressure, trying to stop Montgomery at the line of scrimmage, but his strength is really starting to now give him that second effort, and he gained, as Bob, as you said, 9 yards on that play.
They come back out in the I formation. Robert Rossi comes to the near side. 2 tight ends in there. Ball's on the turf. It's kicked around. Who's going to get it? Rossi comes up and gets it, and it's actually a gain of 10. It's a Keystone College first down. Robert Rossi, Johnny on the spot.
Here's the replay of this, folks. You'll see it was just a quarterback center exchange. It squirted out, got kicked, and Rossi was at the right place at the right time, gave them another first down to keep this drive alive.
To check in the conditions, Brendan down on the field. What's it like?
Rain is coming down even harder. Believe it or not, though, I'm on the turf right now. It's actually not that bad, but the football is getting slick, and you saw it on that last play, on that last fumble. It did result in a first down, which was good for Prep, but Valley View is going to be at a big disadvantage in this fourth quarter. They have to travel into the wind when they're driving down the field. That's going to be tough for them. Throwing the ball is going to be an adventure. Let's see if they have the guts to do it. Bob?
So London Montgomery again. Now it's up to the guys who are running the ball to hold on to it. He mentioned how slick the ball is. We saw it come out. Anything could happen.
It is, and that's why these footballs really bounce funny. But when they get wet, watch out. We saw that with that quarterback center exchange where there was a miscue. So this is going to be key.
Great job by Randall shooting in, makes the tackle for Valley View. Also McInder in there on the tackle, and Schwartz.
Look at that. Nice job. 44 takes on the fullback, wrong arms him, and then that allowed the time for the rest of the Cougars to come in there and make that tackle.
Imagine if London Montgomery was able to play a full season last year. I mean, he has 3,260 yards coming in and 49 touchdowns. And he's missed 2 games this year and really 5 last year if he didn't have a full season plus playoffs. He's a special back, and this time the defensive line does an outstanding job for the Cougars.
Number 31 in there, 2 plays in a row. He's been a big playmaker for the Cougars.
So 4th down on the way and 3 yards.
Well, we talked earlier, Bob, about the Cougars bend but don't break defense. They're starting to stiffen up right now, and they're really, really taking it to the Cavaliers.
Do you throw a pass here? Oh, down a 4th down and 3?
No.
Hey, I'm just saying.
No.
Nope, they're going to come out with a power formation. They have their 2 fullbacks in there set up as tight ends. Montgomery's the lone back. Mano-a-mano, give it to Montgomery. He shoots through. He is a Keystone College first down. And more, and he drags McIntyre inside the 10. They said he was down. They said he was down, and it'll be 1st and goal, Scranton Prep.
He got taken down really hard, and again, the ground can't cause a fumble on this. What I liked was how London Montgomery went away from the strength, and he cuts through there. Watch how he gets taken down here.
He's down the
he
ball.
He was down.
Yep.
The ball, yeah, the ground cannot cause a fumble.
So 1st and goal inside the Allied Services red zone for Scranton Prep, already up 14-10. Back to the power formation. Montgomery up the middle.
Oh,
big hit by Randall. What a hit from the senior defensive end.
Boy, I felt that hit up here, Bob. Nice job by Randall at his defensive end spot.
Loss of 3.
Right in there. He goes right into the D gap, and he just wrapped up Montgomery. You take away his legs, and that was a great job.
He blew by Schnippes. So to the 10 they are. Clock rolling under 6:40 to play in the game. A little toss to Montgomery. Right into the heart of the defense. He's hit hard inside the 10. McIntyre in there, along with Marion. 3rd down. Let's put this scenario. You missed, you go for a field goal. Or do you make them drive the length of the field?
I would make them drive the length of the field because they're going into the wind right now. The rain has subsided.
So from the 9, 3rd down. They can get a first. They cannot. It's 3rd and goal. Montgomery, he has a hole. He shoots 3 with great tackle. Coming in was Zach Rudalavich, the senior. So 4th down from the 8 for Scranton Prep. And here comes the field goal team.
Well, the defense has done their job now. 3 downs now. What they're going to hope for now is that the center is going to have a bad snap. And we have to remember, this is a live ball. It's not an extra point.
Monahan the holder. Ray Rinaldi is the kicker. They'll mark it down to 15, so 25-yard field goal. He's 0 for 1 on the season.
And coming in, he was 37 for 40 on PATs.
High snap, kick is up, kick is low, but it is good! Rinaldi with the 20-yard field goal.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, it got everything, it took everything he had to get in there. Look how excited he is. He knows that he just helped make sure to try to seal this game. Watch his kick.
From behind.
Great camera work. I think there was a little bit of a tip on there, and he still had a strong enough leg where that ball was hit so hard. It did go through the uprights, obviously, and we have a 1-score game.
We do, 7-point lead, 5:12 remaining, and a big hit by Rinaldi to extend that lead. So Valley View's defense happy they only gave up 3 and gives the offensive chance, but they do have to go into the wind and the rain.
Boy, it looks, I really thought for sure with how miserable it is out there with the weather that some of the faithful here for Valley View would have said, forget it. They have not moved at all. Same for the Scranton Prep faithful.
Yeah, both student sections still intact, and fans are holding on. Let's see if the ball stays on the tee for Rinaldi after that big kick. And nope, he'll have to grab someone to hold it.
Get him going, Dante!
Well, what we expected for a division championship, both teams coming in undefeated. Prep has lost 3 straight to the Cougars. Low kick. Touched. And picked up again. This is Hilling. So Hilling finds a gap and almost shoots through. And a late flag comes in, probably a late hit. So add on a bunch for Valley View will give them excellent field position to tie this one up. So it came up to the 37.
Well, Valley View likes getting their kick returns taken to their sideline. They have men set up properly. I didn't see any block in the back. I'm wondering right there if they're calling on number 5. I'm not sure.
Well, that might be the call because it's going against Scranton Prep. And it's a personal foul. So that's going to keep moving the ball inside Cavalier territory. They're going to begin this drive at the Scranton Prep 48-yard line. So that must have been the call.
Personal foul is a big 15 yards, non-negotiable.
Well, now there's a lot of time left, and you can run the ball. Hilling trying to get a block. He gets to the outside. Flag comes in. We'll have a hold. This one may be coming back. Tyler Schwartz, the 4-year starter here, looking back, might have been on him.
Here's that.
Mike Serra, our referee tonight, is holding against Valley View. So that starting good field position is negated. It will back the ball up into Cougar territory at the 40 now. So 1st and 20 now facing Valley View, down 7 for the Lackawanna Football Conference Division II Championship. The 45th meeting between these two schools. And here you see the rain still coming down hard. Hilling comes back around, tries to find anything, but Prep is right there. Golay makes the tackle. Also Schnippis in there.
Nice job by the Cavaliers. There's just a wall of white jerseys there, not allowing Hilling any room to run. They tried doing a whirly bird motion with him, which means he was coming towards us, then he spun around to go back, and he grabbed the ball, and for nothing.
Chain clock will stop momentarily to get a dry ball. Good job by the officials to do that. And our crew's still hanging on here at John Hens's Veterans Memorial Stadium. We knew it was going to be bad, but you can only prepare so much for the elements. Skeen in, hit by behind the line of scrimmage, but he breaks another tackle. He comes through up past the 45. So 3rd and long now going to face Valley View. Gain of about 6.
And Nick O'Malley came from his inside linebacker position, read it perfectly, was in great position, but he just slipped off the elusive quarterback right here, Skeen. He's right there. A nice job, good vision, cuts back inside to gain extra yardage.
McGuire on the stop. Wholesale changes now for Valley View. 3rd and 16 on the way. The ball at the 46-yard line. Mimo back into the quarterback. And a timeout called by the Cougars. 3:15 remaining in the game. Valley View with 1 timeout remaining in this game, down 7. We don't talk 6A a lot, but let's talk about it now. Delaware Valley was beating North Pocono.
Yes, they were.
Hazleton area
was winning.
Yep, and Wilkes-Barre and Scranton also playing tonight, but that's 4 in, 4 play. So, Delaware Valley will take on Scranton. Hazleton will take on Wilkes-Barre. And then
Hazleton's beating Williamsport right now, 14-3.
So those are the 6A standings heading into the District 2 playoffs, which start next week. Congratulations to the Old Forge Blue Devils and Mike Schuback. We know he's watching the game because
yes, he is.
He likes the lenses clean.
He does. He likes the camera work, and we appreciate that.
They are
Coach.
the District 2 Class A champions, so they get a bye before they head into the sub-regionals in 2 weeks. They're coming off a win over Lackawanna Trail last night, 35-0. So after the timeout, Valley View has the ball. Mimo is the quarterback. He's in the gun. He's going to try to throw. He has plenty of time. He goes to his safety valve on the outside. The ball's on the turf. It's fumbled by Jewell. and he'll be well short of the first down. Gain of 2 on the play. Will bring up 4th down now for Valley View. And what do you do, Coach?
Well, they're going to have to go for it. It's 2:54 left. You're down by 1. Scranton Prep went into their prevent defense, I'll call it. They only had 3 men rushing. That allowed the quarterback a ton of time to throw the ball, but there was no receivers available. And that's why even if he had caught the ball, it was right back at the line of scrimmage, really for no gain.
So 4th and 15 facing the Cougars. They come out quickly. They'll pitch it to Skeen. He can throw it. They're going to go back to Mimo. Mimo's wide open downfield, and he overthrew it off his fingertips. Scranton Prep bit on Skeen and left Mimo wide open deep, and the ball just flew right out of bounds.
Well, they had that 3-man pressure coming again, but the way that they kept their hands and feet moving, they didn't stop. They kept pressure from the backside, flushed them to the front side. He's looking, and he's throwing off his back foot, trying to make something happen. And he was wide open, Bob.
Valley View had a chance on 4th down, but Scranton Prep will take over on downs. 2:14 remaining, and the crowd starts to file out here at John Hens' Veterans Memorial Stadium. It's really tough to take these conditions. Both teams soaking wet. I formation. Montgomery just holds 2 hands on the ball, goes forward to the 45. Gain of 2 at best. Valley View only has 1 timeout remaining in this game.
As does the Cavaliers of Prep. Golace getting up, still walking a little gingerly on that. But they're going to just take their time and let the clock run.
So the question will be, if Scranton Prep can hold on, do they overtake Wyoming area because they beat a team that's 9-0 that has a lot of power points?
And again, they're a bigger school.
And they're a bigger school. So
that's where those power points definitely come into play.
Timeout called by Scranton Prep, 1:29 remaining. It's probably to say, leave the hand, put 2 hands on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not fumble it, and let's check out our schedule. We'll take a week off because we obviously have to dry everything out. But it was planned. And we'll head to the PIAA District 2 playoffs November 12th. Now, Coach won't be here. So then we will have the Mayor's Cup.
Yep.
A 2-year absence for that, but we welcome in Wilkes and Kings, and 2 very good teams this year in the MAC. We'll go head-to-head November 13th. That's at noon right here on MyTV, WQMY. So while we have a break, I want to thank the crew. Bill Murphy's our director, Steve Phillips our producer, Tyler Florian and Tyler Peterson are in the truck doing graphics.
Yes.
Ernie Mangroli on replay. John Klingerman's doing audio. Kevin Burke is our engineer who's running around taking care of everything.
He's wiping the lenses down, I believe.
And these are the brave guys who are out in this all night long. Mike Basta, Alex Gross, Jack Maloney, Ben Stout, Coy Wilson, and John Gumbel will have to
always do a great job for us.
Get wrung out after this game. There's going to be a lot of wet people after this one and gear. Oh, almost a fumble handoff from Montgomery from Monahan, who barely handled that one. And Montgomery's going to dive forward up to the 42-yard line. A short gain, but the clock will roll. 3rd down now coming up for Scranton Prep, who's trying to break a 3-year string of losses to the Cougars and win the Lackawanna Football Conference Division I title and possibly take the top seed in District 2 coming up. It's nothing fancy. They give the ball to number 7 and rely on that big line. They give it to number 7 again. He is up, and he has a Keystone College first down, and that should just about do it for Scranton Prep. The legs of London Montgomery, the offensive line.
And you see just right there how that offensive line got their steps. They stayed low. They pushed them off. And when you have a back like London Montgomery back there, it makes your job so much easier. And this game, both these teams, we knew was going to be a tight game like it is, and they're nothing to be ashamed of. They have to get ready now for playoffs next week, or excuse me.
And the Valley View faithful will be talking about that Sean McIntyre no touchdown call at the end of the first half that really turned the momentum over to Scranton Prep into the second half. 3 tries to get a touchdown, and they were unable to get it, and the clock ran out. They had no timeouts. They're going to come on for a measurement for the Keystone College first down. There you see it is a first down. The clock should roll, and that should just about do it for Scranton Prep. They pick up their 19th win in the series overall against the Cougars. And again, they break that 3-game losing streak to them and will improve to 9-0 on the season.
And Valley View, 9-1.
Yep.
What, I mean, a great year, and they've got to just let this one go. They battled conditions. You might want to say, like you said, Bob, the official with that one touchdown that wasn't called. Woulda, couldas, and shouldas, but they have another week to get things going, to get ready for the playoffs.
Well, London Montgomery well over 200 yards. They don't have a final count on him, but he led the way. They used their offensive line, and that will just about do it here at John Hens' Veterans Memorial Stadium as the Scranton Prep students rush the field and to congratulate them in this rivalry game between the Cougars and the Cavaliers. Coach, last final thoughts before we get off?
Well, we saw what London Montgomery does best, and the Prep has got to get ready for their first round bye next week, so they'll be fine.
If they overtake Wyoming area, which we expect them to.
I believe they will because of the power points and, again, the schedule. I'm just so impressed that these two teams battled all the way to the end and had to battle the elements tonight. Congratulations to both teams.
Our next game will be in 2 weeks. We're going to need 2 weeks to dry everyone out. We'll be back. We'll let you know what the playoff game is. Check on Twitter at Fox 56 Sports. And check on Facebook at MyTV and at Fox 56. I mentioned the crew. I can't say much more how fantastic they did tonight, Coach, because they are wet, they are tired, and it is cold. So that will do it. Scranton Prep knocks off number 1. The final score, 17-10. For Brendan Murphy, for Coach Jan Cechek, this is Bob I saying so long, everyone, and be safe out there.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.